Am I the a-hole for not reconciling with my father after I was framed for theft? By him? Framing your family for crimes? Well, this story is to help answer the question, how should you deal with stealing between family members? Very interesting. This comes from Throwaway 832402. It says, throwaway because my brother is a Redditor and I am 23 and a male. You can't be using your real username at 23 male.
No,
Can't
sir.
do it. I am the middle child of my parents, 54 male and 53 female, and I have an older sister, 25, and a younger brother, 19. I've been living with my family for 5 years with the very bare minimum of contact because right around the time I turned 15, my dad's stuff started disappearing from his room. He has a pocket knife collection filled with different knives that he has collected from the US, and some of them are pretty decently valuable, not worth like several grand or anything, but those would probably fetch a few $100. That's not nothing.
That ain't nothing.
For one, that's crazy.
That ain't chump change.
That ain't chump change. He also has a collection of baseball cards and autographed baseballs. These items would vanish from his room and end up in my room, and each time I got punished for it. And each time was more severe than the last. With what evidence? With what proof?
Prove it.
Do we have an unreliable narrator? I don't know. We're too early. We're too early to know. I was looked at by my entire immediate family as a thief for 3 years, even though I constantly pleaded my innocence to them.
Ooh.
We need to take it to, dude, can you imagine going
Courts.
to like a civil court against your own father? Because this is like...
People do.
Because OP is 15, so nearing that, I think there's like a flexibility on the adults, age for like certain cases. And it's like probably at this point, thousands, if not $10,000+ worth of items.
Yeah.
So that seems like he could take his own father to court at 15 or 16 years old.
Whoa.
I hope that's in an update. I missed out on a few vacations. Didn't have a 17th birthday celebration at all. Didn't get my driver's license or a car until after I moved out. And I didn't have a job and had no way to save money aside from past birthdays and odd chores around my neighborhood. Dude, his own dad is icing him out.
That's wild.
This is too much. I remember my dad and mom telling me how much of a disappointment I was.
Oh my God.
And that they wouldn't be surprised if I end up in the local news as a robbery suspect or worse. My extended family wasn't much help either and saw me in the same light. It got so bad to the point where I was genuinely worried if I was actually stealing and not remembering at all. Oh my God.
Wait, they're gaslighting him?
Dude, either through some kind of mental struggle or doing it in my sleep or anything. Conspiracy theory. I think that maybe they're claiming, and maybe what if they're like claiming insurance on it or something like that.
Oh my God. They're trying to make him take the fall. They're trying to scapegoat him.
And could you imagine if that's what they were doing? They were literally ruining his young, these years
Young
are so
life,
important.
yeah.
The teenage, like late teenage, early 20s. I don't like this.
Would you, if your child were actually stealing from you, how would you go about punishing or dealing with that?
Great question. Not this. I would do.
Seems bad.
I would do things like. This is off the top of my head, and maybe I'll think about it more, and we'll kind of like discuss it throughout the episode. But I think maybe like Xbox. Okay, get that out of there.
We sell it.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Free time with friends, but like, hey, here's your car, so you can go work and do this stuff. I still love you. Like, I think my love for, like, they are actually what the parents are saying right here is their love for their child is worth a few $1,000s.
Yeah.
They're literally saying that a few $1,000s.
And also not believing him too.
And also not believing him.
Yeah.
Like I very much, because like in the grand scheme of things, I'm sorry. Like I get maybe some of the baseball cards or mementos and like things of that. Like
I forgot this was over baseball cards.
It's a knife collection, baseballs and baseball cards from what I know. So I'm like, I'm sorry. My child is more important than any object on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Point blank, period.
Yeah. I don't know, especially if it's a 15-year-old. I think that there are different steps that you can go about dealing with.
Who knows what the 15-year-old is going through?
Yeah.
Like truly, like it could be anything.
And in this case, he hasn't even done it. He doesn't even do this.
But earlier this week, I got a call from my mom and my dad had noticed that his things started disappearing again without me being there.
Well.
And finally had the bright idea of setting up a camera in the hall. Why didn't you do that before? Oh my God. Dude.
Dude.
Put a camera in the first time.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You don't. Oh, I really hate the parents right now.
They suck.
They do. So where my brother was caught taking stuff and putting them in my sister's old room.
What is this? He's just framing all of his family?
What is happening right now?
Also, just because maybe I wasn't quite clear on this.
Yes.
The brother allegedly, proven, was putting stuff in OP's room, correct?
The brother was taking it and seemingly hiding it in the sister's room.
No. But at the beginning of the story, was hiding it in OP's room to frame him.
I don't even know if they put it in his room.
Would vanish from his room and end up in my room.
Ah, okay. I forgot that part.
Just to be clear, none of this stuff actually was sold or they got it back. They got it back. It was just in his room. And this is how they're treating him? I'm sorry, even if he was doing this,
the actual harm hasn't
nothing happened. It was just in his room. Do you know how many times that Sam or I have taken our parents' stuff or borrowed our parents' stuff and put it in our room?
Yeah.
As kids, all the time. Sam said many times.
Yeah,
this isn't stealing. This is putting something in your room.
Yeah, one last point before getting back to the story. I am a firm believer in once you get into the real world, talk about the actual consequences.
Yeah.
So the fact they didn't lose thousands of dollars worth of things they spent. They lost nothing. So to me,
they're just losing their kids.
Talk about it. To me, I'm if you, maybe there's if he is stealing it and hiding in the room, okay, whatever. But the fact that it wasn't the same, and to inverse the scenario, a kid could crash a car or get into a car accident totally by accident.
Yeah.
But also maybe you're hey, maybe you need some more time to become a safer driver.
Yes.
Before I'll get you a new car, help you get a car, something like that. So it goes both ways because there's real world of consequences of I can't just keep putting you in danger to get crashed. I can't keep buying you cars that you're just going to wreck. Even if you're quote unquote innocent.
Yeah.
We have to think about the real
there are
world
consequences.
The real world consequences, because that's how real life works. And I hate parents who just invent things to punish kids over.
Yeah.
Because they think that's, I'm no, what? Teach them about real, the real world.
Because
sometimes it ultimately doesn't matter.
Raises your insurance.
Boom.
It can hurt someone else in the other car.
Yes.
If there's, an injury.
Yourself.
Yeah. In this scenario, items were moved from one room to another in the same house.
Hey, Sophia. I'm just going to say it's you because I'm going to just go off of no proof. You moved my green powder pack because I stupidly forgot to put it away, and now you're fired.
Damn.
Yeah. You took an item that I had and you moved it to another place. That's unacceptable.
That's stealing.
Can I be honest?
Theft.
You know what? That's murder.
John, you know what they say?
What?
Theft is a crime.
You know what? Theft is a crime. Don't pirate. Oh, but.
Oh, Lord. You know what? I'm I realized I didn't fully comprehend what happened in the beginning. And then when I made that realization of none of this stuff was actually stolen.
How ridiculous is this?
This is so stupid.
I'm glad you pointed out that.
Yeah.
I also didn't realize this.
So stupid.
But Sophia, we are far from over here.
Honestly, I don't even blame the brother who's doing it.
Right? Dude, I would steal from these loser parents. My God, they deserve it. But so back to the story. OP says, my mom told me about that and then said that she and my dad both apologized for not believing me and they would have me over for her birthday dinner to catch up. Too little, too late. But we'll see what happens.
Too late.
I asked her what her plan was for my brother's punishment was, and she got confused. Punishment? I asked her again and reminded her that I was forced to miss out on a birthday, multiple vacations, and my driver's license at 16. She said, my dad took his phone for a week and his video games for a month. Problem solved. Problem solved.
I hate these parents.
I lost it on her and berated them for treating me way worse while I was being framed for being a thief, while the actual thief only had his phone confiscated. Oh, and his freaking PlayStation. Wow, don't forget that. I then said that I will not be attending any events with them in the future, and I said, you guys can go F yourselves. I hung up and blocked her number. I then got a call later from my sister who told me, while my rage is justified, my mother is inconsolable and has locked herself in our parents' bedroom. Am I the a-hole? We have relevant comments, and we have an update, and more relevant comments. Wow. Oh, and another update. My God. And more relevant comments.
Woo!
And another update.
Woo!
Okay, this is a long story, so let's take a very quick pause here. So what do you think?
No.
The parents, without a doubt, are huge, massive a-holes.
Yeah.
And terrible parents.
Yes.
I was debating in my head because I was like, OP being like, go. So I do believe that. I do declare that probably the parents' behavior will and would have continued in the same way. And maybe they are like, if they're given a chance, quote unquote, and OP's like, listen, you need to understand how effed up this is and what terrible parents you were to me.
Yeah.
Like truly awful. Maybe the hero move is to sit them down and say that and be direct and be like, here's what you need to do to, I don't even know if you can't make this up. You can't.
Yeah.
But here's what you can do to try to be better and to have me in your lives. That's the hero move. What I'm debating in my head right now is if it's worth being like,
but I will say
chance.
It's been 5 years of this.
It's been 5 years and this is fresh. Like OP is 23 and it was going on for this whole 5 year.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, the first one was from 15.
Yes, he was 15. Oh, wait.
15 to 23. Because right around 15, my dad's stuff started disappearing from his room.
Oh, living away from my family. Okay.
Oh, yes. Living away. I might have missaid that. So my bad, guys. But so he's been living away, of course, because he's like, I can't deal with you guys.
So this has been happening for longer than 5 years.
And correct me if I'm wrong, they continue to blame him, but despite him being moved out, it seems, right? Holy.
Well, it seems it might have stopped and then it started up again.
And then they blamed him again.
Yeah.
Until they actually finally put the cameras in.
Yes.
So it was, you know what it was? It was the, because like he said, like, oh, everyone in the family, like the rumor just kept like snowballing after the fact with the extended family. And like, it seemed like even without more things disappearing, it just gained more and more momentum and kind of like stonewalled him from his entire family in a way because they all believed he was a cheater. So I
that's like 9 years of this treatment.
Yeah.
I honestly think he's so warranted in what he said.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even I don't think I would want to have a relationship with these parents.
Yeah, I'm really struggling because I think that they deserve it.
Yeah.
You know, doing this to a child is, in my opinion, traumatizing. And like they're going
at 15 years old.
At 15 years old.
To the point that he left.
Literally. He left 5 years ago, so he left when he was 18. He left like
he left immediately.
He left immediately, like as soon as he legally could as a legal adult. So yeah, I think I'll say no, especially for now, because I will say the hero move would have been to again sit the parents down and maybe give them one more chance now that they realize it.
But the thing is that this wasn't a serious enough situation to warrant that reaction.
Absolutely, especially as a kid and all that.
Like, let's say they thought he had stolen thousands of dollars worth of stuff, sold it, and yeah, like that was the situation. Maybe that, like, I don't know. I still don't think this reaction, but like maybe something like a little harsher reaction would make sense.
Like a punishment.
And then maybe like some sort of punishment.
Yeah.
And then they realize, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, we shouldn't have blamed you. But in this scenario, nothing was gone forever. It was simply moved, and he was treated poorly for 9 years, to the point where he literally moved away from his family. I don't think they deserve. If he does not want to maintain a relationship with them, I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fair. Janene says, if I was a crappy parent, I'm going to be crappy equally. So it's like, like it.
Well, that's the thing. He was like, you sucked for me, so you better make it suck for my brother.
Yeah, exactly. Like at the barest of minimums, let's not be a hypocrite and like give him, similar drastically harsh treatment that the brother had. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Sam?
I think the brother, equal treatment for equal siblings.
Ooh, that's a spicy take.
Spiciest take that I know.
Spicy as that fresh, sweet haircut you got going on over there.
Haircut.
Looking
Me
crispy,
too.
sir. Wow, everyone's got haircuts except for
Your
me.
haircut looks good.
It's not that different. It's just my being.
Do you need a little TLDR? Welcome, by the way.
No, I'll just go in blind.
Great. Literally said F you to the parents, blocked, going no contact. Done.
I mean, I
Relationship over.
think that you had the right to do that probably when they were
8 years ago.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
But now the hypocrisy that has been exposed makes me even
more on that side.
Also, OP said that it got to the point wwhere he thought he was doing it.
Yes.
Like he was like, I thought I was sleepwalking.
Like the family was like essentially because like everyone in his life as of 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old, you're like, am I? Like you just lose, OP was losing touch with reality because of all this. It was crazy. But ladies and gentlemen, this story is far from over. Let's go. Let's get into some relevant comments. So, commenter says, I think OP should point out to his sister that the brother was trying to do the same thing to her, to frame her as a thief and have her punished, which is a great point. OP said, which was an even wider move because I forgot to clarify that she just moved out of that house a yearish after I did. Commenter said, wait, sorry, I'm not following. Your brother tried to frame your sister for theft when she wasn't even in the house. OP says, yeah, it was very dumb and idiotic move on his part. Have no clue what he was thinking. Jail or not for the brother? Do we throw him in prison?
The idiot brother that is trying to
How old is this boy?
throw people into the bus.
He is, as of today, the brother is currently 19 years old. OP is 23.
Why do they like this idiot so
when
much?
this started, he was 9.
8 years ago. 10.
10. Okay.
11.
Okay, so wait.
11?
He basically pulled this prank.
Yeah, this sounds like a 10-year-old prank.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't realize.
But then he pulled it again at 19.
Well, okay, yeah, no. He sounds like stupid. But like going back at 10 years old, a little boy pulls a prank. He puts his dad's baseball collection in his brother's room, and he's like, oh my God, get my brother in trouble. His brother is like starts having everything taken away from him. His parents are going like full force. And then this little 10-year-old boy is like, oh my God, I can never tell them that I did this.
Maybe he's just lived with this guilt for so long.
But then he did it again.
Yeah, which it negates the point.
Yeah.
I say prison for the 11-year-old. Hashtag prison for the 11-year-old.
Prison for kids. Why
Yes,
don't we
prison
have
for kids.
Yeah,
Come
I think
on,
we need real prison. Yeah, but I want real prison for kids.
Interesting.
You know, where they have to like work on license plates and stuff.
I'm fully on board. I want a prison just for this kid.
Just for this kid. Solitary confinement for this child.
Put him in adult prison. Put this 11-year-old in prison with the adults. That's my stance, and I'm not changing it. That's my stance, and I'm not changing it.
Damn, what
I said what I said.
Tim Hyatt says, for the brother, it was probably just a prank, but once he saw how much he could get away with, it continued as a malicious act. Yeah.
Ooh.
That's
Great
interesting.
point.
Yeah, I was looking at the first scenario because the second scenario of him doing it at 19 is like, why are you doing this? Something's up with you. But the
Wait,
first
quick-
scenario,
Knowing what happened.
Somewhat related question.
Yes.
If you get tried as an adult, do you go to real prison?
Yes, that's why they try. Yeah.
Or do you just get real prison consequences?
I wonder.
Trying as an adult,
So if you're a
put into prison.
10-year-old and are
Yeah.
tried as an adult,
you get put into
You get put into real prison
But I
with like giants.
From my understanding,
Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe
with Hagrid. Hey Harry, how'd you get in the old clink, my boy?
What's Hagrid doing in prison?
I'm a what? You're a convict, Harry.
You're a criminal. Don't drop the soap, Harry.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Jelba says no. You go to real prison.
What? You go to real prison?
I don't know for sure. Maybe if someone on the comments
That's
has
crazy. Imagine a 10-year-old in prison with you.
I think
why it's crazy.
I think generally speaking, you try like a 15-year-old who did some like super heinous mass.
Yeah.
Pew, pew, pew. That's where it's like trying someone as an adult because it's like so gross
bad.
and so bad and so it's what a
Yeah, I thought it was John Nene says no, they go to kid jail until 18 and then are transferred. So you get real.
Okay.
I think with a lot of crimes, it's like, once you turn 18, then you get all of it expunged. But if you're tried as an adult, it stays with you, I think.
And I was also wondering, I wonder if they changed the if the crime is so heinous, maybe they do put a 17-year-old in a adult.
Well, I
prison.
know that there have been instances where 14-year-olds were tried as adults, and then I'm trying to think of a word to say it.
Everyone's saying it's juvie till 18.
They had the death penalty at 14 because they were tried as an adult.
Oh,
Yeah.
Do they go to death row?
I mean, literally.
Presumably, I think everyone has the death penalty.
Anyway, so death row for this 11-year-old.
Just prison for life. See, I'm fair.
Wait,
I'm fair.
My point wasn't that was good. My point is that was bad. They were also innocent, so it
I'm
was
just
very bad.
putting the 11-year-old in prison with adults. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Very yes, of course.
What?
It's a very fair verdict.
Okay.
Very fair.
These are
Someone
I
clip that
completely disagree.
and post it on TikTok.
I stand by what I said. Well, let's get into the rest of these relevant comments. So, info from the commenter. Tell me more about your brother. What was your relationship with him when he was 9 to 11 years old, when around this happened? And you were a teen before everything started. What is he doing now? Is he in college, university? Does he have a job, or is he just a moocher? Opie says he's in college as far as I know. Our relationship was never bad at all, which shocked me more than anything.
They were like friends.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, let me just ruin your life. Another commenter says, I don't understand. I think your parents took the phone away from him as a form of punishment. This is something done to a high schooler, a child, a person 18 and under still in high school. Opie says he still lives at home for free as far as I know. It's ridiculous and utter BS. And we have our next update coming up. But yeah, I think
I want to hear this update. I sat right in the middle of this story, so I'm still warming up to the idea of adult prison for kids. But maybe I'll be on your side.
I'm warming up
convince
to it.
Also, Sophia, your mic is in focus.
Yeah, I realized that right after.
I did not even notice.
Got eagle eyes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Look great, Fia.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have an update. We'll see if this 11-year-old gets to go to prison or not. So, my sister, who I call T for simplicity, called me about an hour ago as of the time I'm writing this and apologized for what she told me. Wow. Crazy timing. Me and her have been very close ever since I moved out, and she has been known to step up and apologize when she's in the wrong. No hard feelings towards her at all. At least Opie has one person.
That's a great thing to be known for.
That is very true.
Unless it's like, she's always effing up. So she's always stepping up and apologizing. Like,
sorry, guys.
Sorry, I backed over your child, but hey, I'm that person.
I'm holding myself accountable.
I hold yeah, exactly.
As far as my parents go, my mother had an overnight epiphany, according to my sister T. She ended up kicking out my brother, who I'll call Jay, out of the house after they were able to make him admit to doing this for years.
Wow.
My mom told my sister T that he was sent to my granddad's house, where he will be forced to get a job and pay rent, as well as his own tuition now. What about prison? I am still asking, but we'll get to that hopefully soon.
Wait, so he has to go and work? Like everyone else?
Like illegal adults?
Oh my God. The humanity.
My
What a
dad,
punishment.
my dad initially fought her on this until she made him realize just how badly he was tearing this family apart.
You're tearing this family apart.
I bet it was mostly the dad leading the punishments and the mom kind of just like following along.
Yeah.
And the mom's finally realized after 8 years how big she effed up in like co-signing it. My dad then called me apologizing profusely, telling me that I don't ever have to see them again and that they would totally understand it, but they would love the chance to make amends and fix what they damaged. He offered to gift me the amount of the money I owed for loans plus an extra $5,000 for keeps. I don't know if that's loans to pay back the missing items or like student loans or something else, but maybe we'll get more context in the future. I told him I will think it over, but it might take me a while. I did accept his apology, but I haven't forgiven either of them yet, and I hung up. My mom doesn't know that me and my sister T have kept in contact as I live about 2 hours away from my parents and 3+ hours away from her. And T relayed to me that my mom and dad were thinking about selling some stuff they own and taking extra shifts at each of their jobs so they can get me a brand new vehicle as a surprise.
Are they going to sell the collections?
Full circle. Honestly,
that would be so funny.
I honestly
How
think...
much is it worth?
I think a couple thousand.
At least a couple thousand, maybe over 10,000. They said that each item was like roughly a few $100s each, and they had like some knives, baseball cards, and baseballs.
So
signed baseballs.
No, it must be worth more because they're about to give OP like $5,000.
No. That money, it wasn't. They weren't giving that money as like what was stolen. Nothing was stolen. They're just giving it because he has loans for school.
I think it's loans not tied to the valuation of the items.
It's not because nothing was stolen and sold.
But still, like if they're willing to part with $5,000, I feel like I could see if that was worth hundreds of thousands or like $100,000, then it would be more worthy of a familial blow up than something that's like worth $10,000 if they're already like easily giving him $5,000.
Possibly, but let me ask you this: Would your kid at like 15 taking any collectible that you then found, would that warrant you basically ruining their lives for 8 years? And
no, but the chance of you ruining your kid's life increases with the amount of money that they stole.
I would guess that the value of this is like between 10 and 50 grand, maybe on the high end, because he was
baseball cards can be worth a lot.
Well, he said so in the beginning. He was like pretty explicit where he was like,
I have a friend that has 50 grand in Pokemon cards.
Not worth like several grand or anything, but some of those probably fetch for a few hundred. That's what he says.
Each of the items from what I was.
And I imagine the baseball cards probably has hundreds of baseball cards. So
no, but I think he's saying like the knife collection, the baseball collection. So I think all of those together are probably at the most a couple thousand.
And they ruined this guy's life?
Yes. That's what we're on.
I'm honestly
talking about.
Maybe they already don't like him and just looking for excuses.
Well, it seems like they like this other brother much more.
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, that much is clear.
It's a little bit confusing to me, and some of them are pretty decently valuable, not worth like several grand or anything, but some of these probably fetch for a few hundred. So I think
okay, so each top amongst them.
Each of the items, but we have basically zero insight into how large the collection is. And I'm kind of gonna guess that it's not that big, because also if you think about this, let's say they're having to work extra shifts to get some loan money to get a car. Maybe I think their incomes are super low, and maybe 10 to 50 grand means a lot to them. Yeah. Because the income is...
I mean, 10 to 50 grand is a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot, you know what I mean? But I digress. My dad initially fought with her on this until she made him realize how badly he was tearing the family apart. My dad then called me, apologized profusely, telling me that I didn't have to see them again and that they would totally understand, but they would love the chance to make amends and fix what they damaged. He offered to gift the amount of money I owed for loans plus an extra $5,000 for keeps. Okay. So to cover OP's loans and $5,000 on top, just as straight up cash.
Not bad.
This is good. I told him I will think it over, but it might take a while. I did accept his apology, but I haven't forgiven either of them yet, and I hung up. My mom doesn't know that me and T have kept in contact as I live 2 hours away from my parents and 3 hours plus away from her. And T relayed to me that my mom and dad were thinking about selling some stuff they own and taking extra shifts at each of their jobs so they could get me a brand new vehicle as a surprise. So they're paying undisclosed loan amounts plus $5,000 plus maybe buying a car by, selling stuff. It seems like that the car they need to sell a bunch of stuff.
It's just, but it's confusing to me. Like if they don't have much money, how are they affording to do all of that? Be able to part with $5,000
when did they
and
say
loan
they didn't
money,
have a lot of money
and card. That's a lot.
When did they say they weren't able to? When they didn't have a lot of money?
Well,
they said they're just having to work extra
I'm reading
shifts.
between the lines here because it's like if the collection is maybe only worth like around 10 grand and they ruin someone's life over it, but they're so willing and able to just part with loan money, $5,000, a car. They're like, oh, sorry, bam, here it is. It doesn't feel like it's someone who's struggling for something, and so it's like really just that they hate this kid.
Okay, yes,
it's like that's like it's like more and more that this wasn't coming from a place of, oh, this is like some financial security. It is, we hate this kid.
I think it was more about just the
absolutely not
the vindictive
financial
nature.
Security. Yeah, because nothing was stolen.
Yeah, because they literally found everything.
Yeah,
so no value was lost.
But they thought that the value was lost for a while.
They thought it was, but then they found everything. In both
How long
instances.
after?
We don't know for sure, but presumably not.
No,
that
well, I
long
think
after.
the issue was that they were like, stuff's missing, found it in his room.
How long was this stuff missing though?
We in both cases we
presumably
don't know.
not that long because
Like,
it seems like the issue arose when they found it.
I
in his
have
room.
to imagine like a few days or weeks maybe. And again, this is more, we're missing a lot of context on the finances and stuff, but it seems pretty clear to your point that this was just more like vindictive and like hating the child. To Janae's point, like being the black sheep of the family. Especially given the brother was given almost no punishment for a more heinous crime.
Also, your corner looks great, by the way. John's corner.
Oh.
Like, look how pretty that looks. Looks so good.
My corner.
I love your corner.
Not yours. But OP continues. I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'd rather not take a car or any money off of them because A, everything that I own so far, I earned through my hard work, and B, I feel like just buying your child's affection back is a lazy way to reconcile. As far as the situation goes, I did unblock my mom, but I will not be initiating conversation unless she or my dad text first. Also, they did make an apology on Facebook to me and scolded my brother for what happened.
Not the Facebook call out.
Facebook's back again, ladies and gentlemen.
What's with all of these like public Facebook beefs that are just put? Are people doing that? Just putting beef on Facebook?
Like I feel like the past like few weeks, all the stories are centered around like Facebook beef. Facebook family beef.
It's also just because, as someone who doesn't use Facebook, the amount of stuff going on Facebook baffles me.
It kind of is a whole ecosystem that we're just totally we have our largest communities on Facebook now.
So now we're like using Facebook more because of that and like our understanding a little bit. But I had no idea.
It's a brave new world for us.
Yeah.
So I might update if something else happens, but that's all I got for right now. I'm going to read a quick relevant comment before another update. Someone commented, but OP, please don't forgive them. Ha ha ha. OP says, that's what I'm planning on doing. Forgiveness is on the horizon.
That's what I was going to say. Like take all the money, but don't give any of the forgiveness.
Ooh. I'm going to accept the money, but not the car, if they actually go through and buy it. It doesn't feel wrong to take $5,000 from them, though. I don't know if it's just my stupid pride or what.
Why not take the car?
Well, it's probably more in their name than money.
I think OP is doing it. I think OP is maybe taking the middle ground of his previous stance where he's like, I'll take some of your money, but I won't let you just like completely buy me out. So he could still say like, I didn't take the car.
Like, it's like, yes, like buy him out of
guilt.
Of guilt?
Basically.
That's what it seems.
But I mean, like, but you can't just buy your way out of guilt.
They're not paragons of parenting, as this story has shown.
Yeah,
I know, but like, why not just accept it all? And I actually have I have a response to myself on that. I think
Why
the
not?
Sam
just
Show
accept it
featuring
all?
Sam.
So I think my response to what Idiot Sam said would be like, I think maybe the car would, like Sophia said, be more in the parent's name and thus would have a loan out. So like, let's say it's like a $20,000 car. They're paying a loan over time. If like OP isn't sufficiently absolving them of the guilt in the way they like, where it's like, all right, we're not paying your car loan, bam, gets reclaimed by like someone else.
That's a great point.
Unless it's outright bought.
It's like a little. It's like a bait on a fishing pole. And
Yeah.
you can just
Little
Like
reel it
put
back in.
milk in front of a cat.
Oh, milk in front. Sam had
Milk
to be
in front of a what?
Yeah, you had to be there. Okay.
Milk in front of a cow?
Had to put
It was a whole thing. You wouldn't get it.
That's fine.
It's a John and Sophia stream.
I
Guys.
didn't even want to get it.
Yeah, this is quite
That's
Tell me
right.
after.
But there's more, ladies and gentlemen. So, let's get into this update. I got a call from my sister T. My brother Jay just got arrested
Whoa.
for stealing my grandpa's truck keys and hitting a street light about 2 miles outside of the house last night, September 25th.
Whoa.
We'll update when I get more details, as I'm going to call my dad. Stay tuned. I'm going to get right into the next part of this
Is he
update.
okay?
Yeah.
We don't know. But if he was in prison at 11, this
would not
wouldn't have
happen.
happened.
Also,
also
he's
would've
probably fine because if GTA has taught me anything, you can just hit those streetlights and they get knocked down
Dude,
in a second.
Tree, don't even think
Don't
about
even
it.
think about a tree.
Street pole,
Yeah.
pole,
easy.
easy.
GTA logic tells you everything you
It's a
need to
toothpick.
know.
When I started driving, I was afraid that my hood would fly off because of how easily hoods fly off. It was a very disassociated feeling.
That's
But
actually so funny.
my driving aside, there's more to this very
That's
juicy update right here.
hilarious.
So,
I love that. More.
the title of this next update, my brother's practically disowned for better or for worse. This is 3 days after the last update. So my brother has not taken to his new living arrangements well at all. You don't say. He hasn't gone out long for work. And yesterday he was caught trying to break into my grandpa's safe right before he stole the truck. Prison.
Sophia Callan says he's a kleptomaniac.
Yeah.
This is true.
It seems
Yes.
like he got a little taste. He got a little
Yeah, he got a little juice.
He's probably
Yeah.
been doing it since he was 11.
Yeah,
or
no, he got
earlier.
an
And
adrenaline
again-
rush. He was like,
This would not happen if he was in prison at 11.
That's, guys.
I don't like what we're advocating. here.
11-year-olds go to adult prison.
I'm just saying this one. You know what? Other 11-year-olds up for debate, but this one has to go in prison. So he was going too fast and unintentionally hit the streetlight. It's always unintentional. He doesn't have any injuries,
I would
but
hope so.
yeah, he doesn't have any injuries, but the truck is possibly totaled, and my grandparents kicked him out too. He now has no home, and my parents have canceled his college fund and are using it to pay for my grandparents to get a new vehicle. My dad told me that he was going to try to surprise me with a new vehicle, but that idea was out of the window, to which I said I appreciate his offer, but I would have declined it anyways because I have my reliable 01 Cherokee.
Sponsor, John.
You're right.
Wow.
I know. Pertinent story details. So my parents have practically disowned him, and it's also crazy to me that he was never truly rebellious up until this point. Never rebellious. I think he may be dealing with some serious mental crisis, and it wouldn't surprise me if his mugshot shows up on my local news. I'm not too well versed on psychology, mechanical engineering degree.
Let's go. Where are my engineers at?
So I know nothing about the human psychology.
Also, I feel like there was a subtle flex in there. It's like, I don't know anything about the brain because I'm freaking engineer.
Yeah, that's right. I'm so brilliant, but
So
the other
brilliant.
kind.
The
I've
other
got my
kind of brilliant.
reliable Cherokee, and I'm an engineer.
Yeah. So I ask, is there anyone out there with an idea as to why he may be going through this? Ladies and gentlemen, we have another update, more relevant comments, and another update, and another relevant comment after that. So we have more.
We have more. But
Don't
wait.
think this is over because it is not.
Wait.
So what do we think? At this point, we have gotten a lot more context. What do we think that OP in his position should do and think about the situation with his brother? Because to OP's point, maybe there are some serious mental health issues going on with this kid.
Sure. But I feel like, as we've said before, just because there are serious mental health issues doesn't mean you absolve them of dickishness, but you maybe know how to treat the dickishness. What
if you kind of sit him down and you're like, hey, because he's basically kind of been like financially cut off and everything. What if they're like, the only way we will financially support you so you don't have to like, try not to live in poverty, be on the streets, is we go get you a psych evaluation.
Yeah.
If we get an evaluation or even, a second opinion too, that says like, hey, you should go to, get X, Y, and Z help for your mental health medication, maybe a center for a certain amount of time, like whatever the case may be, we're going to do that.
I think that's a pretty good idea because what we're understanding, we would understand more about the brother and like he can get the help he needs. But only if he's actually advocating for himself to get that help. And so it's kind of like you have the consent to take things a little autonomy away from him so he can get this help. So
you're incentivizing him to improve.
Exactly. He may not take it. And then it's like, all right, we tried. It's on you. I think that's like the best thing that you could do. It's definitely the most angel thing you could do.
Yeah.
But I don't think you are necessarily morally obligated to see that to the end. Where it's like if he doesn't accept the help, then it's like
totally
your
that's kind of all you can do.
Yeah.
And as much as I want this 11-year-old in prison, which I really do, it's also a challenging thing. Even I feel like imagining myself as a parent to a 19-year-old, it's even still a challenging thing to completely cut off a 19-year-old who's especially going through, it seems, at least something. If he doesn't have serious mental health issues, just like a insane evil person.
The thing is that they've never once tried to like actually help any of their children.
They never
they're like, oh, all right, you know what, I know you've gone through hell for the last almost decade, but here's $5,000.
Here's a new sedan.
Yeah.
You've won for your childhood trauma. You've won a new sedan. Yeah,
no,
that's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah, when they thought OP was stealing things, they should have had a talk about that. Hey, can't be doing that. Why do you think you're doing that? And then once they found out it was the brother, it should have been, hey, can't be doing that. Why do you think you're doing that? How can we stop you from doing that?
They Harry Potter'd OP.
Yeah,
they really did.
Harry Potter to OP in what way?
In the fact that they're just like, no family vacations, no birthdays, no driving, basically no extracurriculars. We'll put you in a box and make sure that you don't die of starvation.
And I feel like that is the worst punishment to give a child.
Yes.
Yeah.
It robs them of their childhood.
Yeah. And it also probably, it doesn't expose them to the good things that could change that behavior.
Yes.
So let's say they did do what the parents thought they did.
Yeah.
The best thing for that kid is like, all right, let's put them in science camp as a punishment, or like take away. Yeah. Like
rehabilitation.
Exactly.
For children.
Yeah.
Speaking of
11-year-old.
for this 11-year-old. Yeah. So this is my second Am I the A-hole post and a semi follow-up to my first one plus other posts on my account. For those in the know, here's a quick recap. I, 23 male, have been slowly reconnecting with my parents, male and female, both 54, after I was framed by my brother, currently 19 male, for stealing from my dad. Since I began interacting with them more, we have all, including my brother, my parents, have undisowned him after I had to vouch for him, saying that running away from your mistakes only made them worse. Started therapy, and I have debts from school paid off.
Oh, OP debt-free and in therapy.
And is seemingly leading, he mentioned to the parents like, hey, running away from our brother is not going to help solve the issue here,
which is 100% true.
OP is 1,000 times more mature than his 30.
OP should be the parent.
OP is the parent. OP's
OP
big
for
daddy.
parenthood.
Oh yeah. So on my mom's birthday dinner, that was yesterday evening, I decided to go because they were eating at an expensive restaurant and they offered to pay my way fully. Free food sounded good to me. Hey, when you offer a 23-year-old good free meal,
they'll take it.
That's right. Those that were there were me, my sister, my brother, surprisingly, my parents' uncle and his wife from my mom's side, both mid-40s, and their twins, 19 and male-female. I've always gotten along with their son, but their daughter, who I'll call R, has despised me for as long as I can remember. Let's also put her in prison. My dad was pulling out his wallet for his ID so he could get a drink. And my cousin R said in a mocking manner, uh-oh, OP's dad, hide your wallet. You wouldn't want OP getting in there. Excuse me?
No. The childhood trauma returns.
I'm not a thief, madam. I'm not a thief.
But I'm about to take my name out of your mouth.
Oh, talk that talk. So, Sophia really laid it down. Here we go. OP's on the same train.
Get my name out of your mouth.
Will Smith style. I looked at her red in the face and embarrassed and said along the lines of, your girl best friends have to say that to every guy in your friend group because of how you get around. She's a no cheater.
I hope he said that part.
Oh,
He's
my
like,
goodness.
you get around, you're a known cheater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a known cheater. Let the facts be known in this case.
Wow.
She got upset and started crying. And my uncle started berating me for talking to his daughter like that. How about your daughter talking to me like that, huh, buddy? And that I was still on thin ice for what I was framed for. Wow. Hey,
You can be on thin ice for something that you were proven innocent.
You were proved innocent, but only recently. You're on thin ice. You are exonerated of all charges, but it's still bad. Okay.
That would be like if someone was arrested for something and then they got proven not guilty, and then everyone was like, "You're on thin ice."
They're like, you know what? We're just gonna take you back to jail for a
that
few
you
days.
should go to jail, and it's only recently that we changed our mind.
We're gonna give you a jail grace period.
We might just throw you in jail because we don't like you.
We kind of feel like it, you know.
We don't like you.
It's
I mean, honestly, that is thin ice. If it's just like, we don't like you, and we already threw you in jail for a while for just like something we did just because we didn't like you, not anything you did wrong.
We got to get used to feeling like you're innocent. It's so new to us,
It is.
We got to wait till we really sink our teeth into it, Let's put a pin in that and put you in jail. But I got angry, flipped him off, and left the restaurant. I called my dad, and he said that I have nothing to apologize for. But my mom wants me to because she wants to keep peace between her side of the family and ours.
Is she gonna do another Facebook post?
Great prediction. Conspiracy theory. My uncle texted me demanding an apology, and cousin R put a post out on Instagram.
Or at least they're changing platforms. Still owned by Meta.
the same company. About toxic family members.
Oh my God.
Very big sub right there. This is where I come to you again. Reddit. Am I the a-hole? And just a little bit more background and just a little bit more context to my background. I was punished and neglected from my mid-teenage years up until I moved out because of what my brother did to me and left me with trauma and trust issues from everyone around me. I'm usually level-headed, but everyone knows what happened, and it is a very sensitive subject. Before we get into...
this story is long.
Dude, it is...
This is crazy.
Beefy. I feel like the mom should... What about keeping your son? Like,
What do you mean?
so the mom is like, hey, apologize to, your uncle's side of the family because we want to keep the peace. What about keeping the peace and keeping your son in your life, who is literally OP is completely in the right, and maybe the most you could say is he reacted rudely. That's like the most you have, but
But John, you're forgetting one very important thing.
talk to me.
The family hates OP.
You know what? You're totally right. He was only recently innocent.
He was only recently, and again, like they've been thinking of him as guilty for a long time.
8 years.
It takes a while. Like, Eric, if someone says like, "Hey, I'm a red balloon," for years, and you're talking to them on the phone, and it's like a long distance relationship with that red balloon. And then this is a weird analogy.
Great, I
and
love
then
it.
suddenly you see them in person, and they're actually a blue balloon.
I'm gonna call him
now
Red
you're
Balloon.
just talking about gender transitions.
Back to politics.
I'm talking about balloons.
Nice job, Sam.
And I'm just saying,
balloons. I've heard of dog whistles,
it takes
but
a
balloon
while
whistles?
to start thinking of a different balloon. Sophia, I was fine with my balloon, and now, okay. Anyway, thanks, Sophia, for that.
We can't always have a classic John analogy. It's truly an art and a gift to craft the most elegant
There's
analogies.
him. I went to lit school. I'm all about metaphors.
I'm a dropout. I'm all about metaphors,
All
But ladies and gentlemen, we have more.
right.
So Mini update. Just got off the phone with my aunt, cousin R's mom, and she gave me the most sincere apology that I've received in the past month. And OP has been receiving some apologies. She said that she has dealt with R and my uncle. Don't know how, but R did take down the post, and my uncle did send me a single sorry.
Sorry.
That's the K of apologies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. SRRY.
Yeah.
You don't even get vowels.
SRREY.
SRY.
SRY. Sorry.
As little characters as possible.
Or just like a little like crying face emoji.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Yeah. That's sorry enough, right? Sorry.
Is the aunt, very quickly, is the aunt's actions forgivable of the interaction? At least for the aunt. Can we forgive the aunt?
I forgive no one.
Yeah.
Vengeance.
I think everyone in this story is the a-hole except for OP. Oh, and the sister.
Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it is, I will say it was very good of the aunt consider, and it is, I will give recognition to it being like a difficult thing to go against your husband and your daughter and like all this stuff.
Okay. Sorry, I forgot what the aunt did. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So I will say I at least give her credit for standing up to them, because she's like, she I think was exactly correct in being like, no, you are completely innocent. My daughter is the guilty one. And my husband should also apologize for trying to force you to apologize. I'll forgive the aunt. You need, honestly,
okay.
OP needs someone in his corner. Like, OP is on an island. Just
one adult that is like nice.
Yeah.
Well, I guess. Yeah. I guess so.
Well,
but yeah, Holly says divorce this family already. I'm like, is this just too much drama to be involved with? I mean, yes, you have your aunt who is helping out, but I feel like at a certain point, it's like, is it even worth it to be involved? And just like, I just want to distance myself from this whole situation.
Honestly, that is a great point. The one thing I will say is like, OP is now getting essentially reparations for the wrongdoing that his parents did to him in the past.
Take the reparations and run.
Probably. I mean, honestly, like as a 23-year-old who was low-key forced to move out at 18 because he had no support, like this is probably super helpful for him. And he's kind of like owed something.
Yeah. And like maybe things will get better with the family with time. You know, and you just need to like take a step back.
Yeah, give me some be like, hey, it might even take years. Give me the gifts with no expectations, and that will be a true test. Yeah. And also, I don't want to deal with. I've already had to deal with this for 8 years. I don't want to deal with any more BS. So if Uncle and R are doing this, you're not allowed to invite them to your dinner. If
and
you
let's
care about
do
me.
like $5,000 a month.
You know what? Now we're talking.
Child support.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
am in full support.
You didn't support me as a child, so I deserve child support now that I'm an adult.
Back child support.
Back child support.
That is like probably a literal legal case in the case of like a traditional child support thing.
Yeah.
Can we talk about it? We have some relevant comments to discuss this. So, commenter, info, K, so you were framed for stealing and now they know it wasn't you? Or did everyone get over it and was still thinking it was you? Why vouch for your brother if this whole situation is still lingering? I literally forgot about that. OP has vouched for the brother recently.
Wait, what?
OP vouched for the stealing brother because he was like, the way to kind of like fix him, quote unquote, is not by exiling him, but like working on the solution.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sounds like he still needs to make amends. Your cousin sounds like a piece of work. And while you sunk to her level, she may have deserved it. I don't believe that OP sunk to her. Yes, it was a like a clapback, but
it was a necessary.
Yeah, like OP is innocent and they're continuing to torture him after 8 years of trauma. Still, you may find a more mature approach serves you better. OP vouched for my brother because they were planning to cut him off like they almost did me when I and our now therapist thinks he has serious underlying issues. Everyone thinks I am innocent in stealing.
Okay, props to OP for actually rooting for his brother and wanting to improve, even after what happened to him because of his brother.
OP's the parent.
Yeah.
OP's the parent in the situation.
Which is so sad. Like he's been parentified. And
it's crazy. Commenter, so why is the uncle making a statement that he knows is untrue? Why did your parents not correct him immediately? Good question. That would have diffused the situation and kept the peace. OP, I don't know. Sometimes it feels like they still see me as the thief. And honestly, I'm just going to end up reverting back to bare minimum contact. Commenter says, so if your cousin really does know you're innocent, why did she make the remark about the wallet? Are you sure she actually knows the truth? OP, yes, she knows the truth. My parents made a public apology on Facebook, classic, and my entire family reacted to it, including hers, which is just a thumbs up. I guess like a thumbs up reaction. I don't know if maybe she doesn't know. I don't know. Commenter says, assuming cousin R really is a cheater, not the a-hole. OP, she is. She's cheated twice. One of the dudes was in that friend group. And ladies and gentlemen, we are currently at the precipice of the final update and final relevant comment.
Wow.
We have finally arrived. This has been a long
saga.
journey.
Is this a one story episode?
Yeah.
You're so right. Yes, this is going to be a one story episode. A banger.
Whoa.
Dare I say.
Banger
Big
of an
banger.
episode.
Oh, yes. Shall we get into it?
Let's dive in.
Update about my life. First and foremost, my mom actually straight up apologized to me for everything from not taking up my side at dinner, for the way I was treated most of my teenage to adult life. And she ended up telling my cousin and uncle off. That is what you do. This was during a therapy session, and it happened before any of us said anything to start it. My dad apologized to me, as well to my siblings, for everything. My brother is now going to get some actual help now, as my parents have admitted to prioritizing me and my sister before this entire ordeal started when I was 15 and the framing began. He apologized to me for everything and was let back into my parents' house, but has to earn his trust back. I don't really care what he has to do. My contact with him is still going to be very, very limited. Also, in other news, I have a date.
Ooh, baby.
That's right. We met on Tinder around a little over a week ago, and we clicked really well. She lives around 15 minutes from my place. Perfect boning distance. That was added by me. That was added by yours truly. And we're meeting at a sushi place before I take her to the movies. She wanted to see Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm hoping it goes well. And OP closes out with this relevant comment to responding to what I'm not sure. OP says, I accepted the money, but have only been attending therapy with them besides the birthday dinner, which I won't attend another event like that for a while. For a while.
Wow.
So.
And here we are.
Here we are at the end of the story. Very curious for everyone's takes and everyone currently in the chat on the live recording as well. What do we say here? Oh, well, let's actually go back to the question of this entire episode to wrap things up in our final discussion. How should you deal with stealing between family members? Not
like this.
Yes. Yes.
I think one is if you catch someone like stealing, I think you first have to try to understand before you sentence.
Especially a kid.
Especially when nothing's actually been told.
We actually had a conversation about like values, Sophia and I, about like values and friendship. And it's like, the example was, if you saw a friend kicking a homeless person, what would you do? And there was someone else in the conversation where it was like, I would seek to first understand why my friend was doing that. And like, obviously you would stop your friend, but I think an important thing second thing after stopping your friend from doing a bad action is to be like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
And I think what that can do is maybe there is like a reason where it's like, that person killed my family or something, or is like about to attack another person. There's context around all actions. And so maybe if they had asked why earlier, they would have found the truth earlier. And if OP did actually steal, they would be able to provide the help that they needed. And so I think it's like really important to ask why when you see someone acting in a way that is not good.
Yeah, I'm thinking same point, but slightly different angle or outcome that comes from that is like, and this is what exactly what OP was saying with the not cutting off the brother, which is like, maybe there's probably some sort of underlying issue, and it could be massively more productive to understand and try to address and fix the issue than possibly cutting them off or something like that. If you are ready to take on that challenge, which in many cases, I don't necessarily think you're like OP's case. OP was not obligated to do that. OP was not obligated to step in and say, don't cut him off. He's not obligated to do any further stuff after that, which he isn't in this scenario, but it helps you hopefully identify the core issue, which is the first step to being able to possibly solve said
But it's like
issue.
also, I think you can either solve the issue or step away from the issue. Like you always have those two options in any situation. So it's like family, friendship, otherwise, if you're willing to part from the relationship completely and you don't want to solve it, you can do. And so I think like the no contact option is always there, even with family. In like OP's case, like I feel like OP was wrongfully accused of stealing. So like that no contact option, I think could be taken too.
Yeah. Do we think OP made any, in all of the moves OP made, was there any point that there was a misstep or a wrong
I stepped
move
in halfway, so I'm not sure. I don't have full context, but what do you think?
I think not. The only thing I think you could say, well, actually we discussed two things. One, we discussed when the parents came to apologize after they finally learned for the first time that it was the brother doing it for 8 years. He was like, F you, I'm storming out, I'm blocking you. And the question was, do you kind of give your parents a chance to kind of like, as stupid as it kind of sounds, learn what the mistake was to try and address and fix it, kind of like we just said a second ago. And the resolution we came to is that's the hero move, that's the angel move, but you're not the a-hole for not wanting to deal with that.
Like, it's just, I mean,
it's not your responsibility.
It's not your responsibility. And it's like, maybe like not everyone has the strength and space in their life to take on stuff like that. It's like, it's at the end of the day, it's not your burden to bear unless you want to bear it.
And important context here too. I think OP was kind of like forced into being an adult. Like one thing he said in the beginning that you weren't here for, he's like, oh, I had to start like, I just like stashed all of my old birthday money. I started doing odd jobs around the neighborhood to get money. Like at 15, he was low key kind of like exiled and forced to become an adult. So now at like 23, he's at like 8 years of this. And that's like a lot of trauma and things to deal with, and like letting your family back in when they were the ones who could stop him in his own healing process.
Exactly. Like the idea, you have to fill your cup before you can help others fill theirs.
Yes.
And OP has a lot of stuff to deal with. So deal with that first.
Kimberly Fine says only if they've shown that there's a slight chance and it won't be to his detriment. So basically, like, is there any chance on the
have
question,
they shown chance of improvement?
Have they shown any sort of signs of a chance of improvement? And is it not going to be at the victim's detriment?
Yeah.
I think that's actually a pretty good qualifier for if you want to, give them that space.
But I think overall OP did like a lot of the right moves.
100%. But I think that's probably a rap-a-doodle-do for this episode.
I think so. So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you and see you tomorrow.